Well, hello there, and cheers. This year I have my favorite drink, and you will see me for the first time in the recap video. Therefore it will be only in English though, because I won't record that twice, because I don't want to get drunk this shortly before the New Year's Eve. But hey, hello and welcome to this year's recap 2025 and preview 2026. As always, I will not cut this. This will be basically a podcast, more or less. And I try to do a few things different this time. Last year, I also double checked it right now, we still had the theme of business and private, and then Twitch and YouTube and the other social media channels and whatnot. First in the recap, then in the preview. This year I wanna sum it up a little bit more in total, because the single things are not too much, but it sums up a lot, and some things are overlapping between Twitch and private life, for example, or business and Twitch, or business and YouTube, or work on other things. And that's why I this year, instead of going for sorting it by categories, I'm going to sort it by month. So we start in January, then February, and so on and so forth. A typical yearly recap. Why am I doing this? Yeah, as mentioned, some things are overlapping and it's just easier. And also, I always sorted it in the beginning like this and then restructured it to the categories, and I don't know why I did that. It was easier, I guess, as long as I did it in German only, and then in 2 languages as well, because then I just had to write it once and it was perfectly fine for both. But technically it works like this as well, so I have no idea why I never did that like this before. I guess I wanted to keep that more separated, but hey. Okay, 2 minutes, almost 3 in, and we didn't even start yet. Let me start with a little bit of overall get-together things. 2025 was a hell of a shit show. And it actually started off nice, you know? Well, more or less. First, I really got my hands on a cheap new graphics card. Well, cheap for back then numbers. 800 euros for a GeForce 4070 Ti Super, which was a good catch back in the day. A few weeks later it was already 1200, 1300 euros. So I got really lucky there. And I also got lucky while meeting with my back then girlfriend in January for 1 week. After that, however, it went downhill really, really fast. I lost my last big contract of the 3 that I had in January as well, so I was basically not jobless, but contractless in January. I had a few smaller contracts, and I also mentioned that in the last recap video actually, that I still have a few contracts, and that's still true, but none of them is really permanently active, so there's no permanent income, which is kinda troublesome, but for the consequences of the future we are going in the end in the preview for next year, as always. So after this hit in January, so expenses for a new graphics card that I hoped that would be fixing the blue screens, which it wasn't. I still have blue screens, less, but still. We went to February, and at the beginning of February my whole PC died and I had to reinstall Windows again several times. And in the end of February I got my dental crowns done, which was also kind of expensive, but that was paid in fall, so in August, I guess. Yeah. Right? Wait, yeah, August, yeah, never mind. And also, at least my pain on the teeth was gone. That's at least something. Also, Star Trucker was released in February, and I had a blast playing it. Most of the time off stream though, because honestly this game didn't have that many viewers on Twitch, and I back then was looking a lot into viewer numbers because, again, same as last year, it's part of my income, so I was a little bit concerned about that, but yeah. Nonetheless, Star Trucker is still a lot of fun. That's also why I recommended it in my calendar in December, but we come back to that in a second. Besides that, nothing major happened in February, at least not on my channels. March as well was rather quiet, sadly in both events and work. I was hoping to have an event there that didn't happen, so that's basically it for March. April. While April was also more of the usual, we played more Hunt on stream, we played a little bit less DBD. It started there already, but we also played the first story VR game on stream, Propagation Paradise Hotel. I know I announced later in 2025 that I will be uploading the next few story games soon on YouTube. I'm still lacking that. I know that I still didn't completely upload Subnautica Below Zero. It's still partially on my hard drive. I'm sorry, I'm working on it, I swear. I'm just forgetful and lazy. I have no excuse. I literally have no excuse. I'm honestly forgetful and lazy. Which might also stop me from being more successful on Twitch and YouTube, or in my contract work. But hey, uploading the streams again is my lowest priority at the moment, so yes, it is a sign of me being lazy, but it's also the least priority at the moment because my streams are done in time, my contract work is done in time when I have some, all the other stuff is done in time, but this is my lowest priority because it was stream content. That is the laziest second-hand part ever. There might be a lot of these coming up soon. Then we also had to struggle, we also had to struggle there on Propagation a few times because, well, Propagation, the first VR game, a horror game on top of that, I honestly didn't know how good or bad this will work out, but in the end it worked out quite nicely, and I was hoping for more VR games on stream in the future. We didn't. Maybe next year. Alright, May. In May I changed my schedule for streams from Tuesday to Saturday 6 PM to open end, to Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 4 PM to 10 PM, or basically open end, and Friday, Saturday we kept at 6 PM to open end. Right now it's a complete chaos because Wednesdays I have a different thing going on right now as well, which means usually Wednesdays is late night stuff, but this might be just skipped completely in the near future. I will have to have a look into that one because I honestly don't know how much sense it makes for me to do that late night Eve stuff if I can just do more of that the next day, you know? Also, we started Alan Wake 1 in that month. Alan Wake was a really nice surprise for me. It showed me a lot of things that I love about these older games and these narrated games especially. And it was a more interactive novel for me, which is funny because it's literally about a writer, you know, anyway. And then we approached June, and June was a rather tough month, because in June there was the breakup with a sad girlfriend from January. The reasons are private, but we are still on good terms, at least on my end. I hope it's the same on hers, but I have no reason to think otherwise. We are still in touch every now and then, but we are a bit more distanced again now. I don't wanna give anything of that relationship out there. It's a personal, private thing, and I think you all will respect that because you usually do that. And I know I don't have these attention-seeking crowd people usually. Also, we started Deus Ex Mankind Divided, another game that really surprised me and that I really am looking forward to edit and upload at some point. After Subnautica and Wake, Propagation, and then this, I guess, something like that. Yeah. Also, we started the Hunt prestiging around that time. So we were like prestige 40 and we started to 40-ish, 44 I guess. And we started to grind the prestiges more around that time. Which is kind of weird considering it took me until November, I guess, to achieve it. Yeah, November it was. Coming back to that in November. But yeah, here we started that. Then we have July. July we had the first marathon stream of this year on July 19th. It was Darksiders 2. Sadly, this was a little bit of bad timing because almost nobody had time that day, which is perfectly fine. But it ended up in me sitting there alone most of the time. And it also resulted in me having to mercy kill, that's what you call aborted speedruns, or cancel speedruns, sorry. For the first time, I never had to cancel a marathon stream mid-run before, and this time it was after, I guess, 19 or 20 hours where I was sitting alone there for like 4 or 5 hours, and I just couldn't keep myself awake anymore. I was completely worn out, I was completely dead. That it was really, really hot outside probably didn't help. I had the window open the whole night and it was still always above 30 degrees Celsius in here. So it was a complete stupid idea. We will do marathon streams again in 2026, yes, but I will try to keep them early in the year and in the end of the year when it's colder outside. And not in the middle of summer. At least not in that regard. Also, I broke with Dead by Daylight in July. Behavior made a lot of decisions. I made several videos on that. If you wanna watch that, go ahead. I won't repeat myself here now too much. But long story short, Behavior made a lot of decisions that I'm not happy with, that were not good for the game in my opinion, and also many others. And Behavior kept that shit show ongoing even until now. The newest clue is that, hey, we are approaching 10 years of Dead by Daylight. As a thank you, please buy this collector's edition that has absolutely no value for you because it's just cheap junk and we sell it to you for 250 bucks. For 250 bucks, yes. 250. It's stupid. Anyway. I still know some people that have fun playing that game and I am happy for them because I still think it is a somewhat good game. But especially if you play a weaker killer as a main, you have no fun there at the moment. And I know some people will disagree with me on that. And maybe some point in the future, whenever they fix most of the stuff that annoy me, or change most of the stuff that annoy me and fix Trickster that way around, I might be going back, but I honestly doubt it. For some reasons, but I'm really happy that I'm out of this toxic hellhole. because the community is probably the worst part of it. Also, the mentality of the community is really, really troublesome at some point, or at a few points. And I found a different addiction again. But more of that in September. First, we are in August. And in August, I was stuck a lot of times on IRL things, and you might not know that because I never mentioned that really outside of close friends circles. But in August, our cat, Nighty, was missing all of a sudden. And it was not the first time that he was missing, so we didn't think too much of it in the first few days, because it was, well, not common occurrence, but it still happened 2 or 3 times already that he was gone for 1 or 2 days and then he came back without any issues. But this time he stayed gone. And we waited and searched for a long time before we actually gave up hope. And that's also why I never mentioned it. Because I always was like, or for a long time I was like, I hope he's coming back. But sadly he wasn't. It was kinda predictable that he would be not around for long anymore, because the way he behaved and his fur not growing back properly after we shaved it in, I guess it was June or July, well, not we, the vet did, but still. But it didn't grow back as it did the last few years beforehand, so we assumed something was happening already. And then from one day to another he didn't come back from his trip at night, and even though we never found him, and even though we never got confirmation that he's actually gone or passed away, well, the chances are rather low that he is still alive out there. In September, I always say we, but it was me. In September, I took off a week of everything for the first time ever since I came back to Austria in 2022. Or even longer before, considering that all my holidays were basically work or meeting with somebody or going out somewhere or working at a different place like the ESA. So I didn't go for any other IRL responsibilities during that time, and it was the most refreshing holiday that I ever had. I might repeat something like that in the near future, maybe February or so, I don't know. And I started with EVE Online in that break again. So, as you might or might not have noticed, EVE Online is my favorite MMO, and I'm really happy to be back into it, because unlike other MMOs, EVE is actually a complete sandbox, and it's a really good feeling to be a capsuleer again. And yes, I only showed it on stream a few weeks later because I wanted to make sure I'm actually diving back into it. But holy shell, this was the best decision of my life so far, I guess. In October, we also started the second marathon of the year, the Banjo-Kazooie Marathon. And this was quite successful, both in you as viewers and me as a player, and the overall enjoyment of the event, I guess. So I'm give me a second. Yeah, this is uncut, I told you. So I'm really happy about how this ended, and I considered running Banjo-Tooie for my Christmas stream on December 25th, but I also did a survey a bit later where I asked if people would be interested in a Christmas stream, and my target was to say, okay, if enough people say they are interested in a Christmas stream, no matter whether they are not, I will at least do it. But yeah, we will talk about that later, but the survey was done in like October as well, or maybe November. But yeah. So Banjo-Kazooie quite successful. We are still lacking Banjo-Tooie though. It will be coming someone soon, I guess. Maybe I'll combine it, so there will be a Banjo-Tooie marathon in February, and then I go for a week of break or so. I don't know. We will see. November. In November, The Last Caretaker released, and while I played the demo off stream, I played the full game on release, on stream, several hours, 2 or 3 days in a row, and I had a blast, and I still have. The first update is released by now, and while it was not on my radar, I really love this game. It was amazing what things can be done in this game to me. And I also did the thing that I started the second save file, a private one, where I'm a lot behind. So in the streaming save file we are now 8 or 9 humans in space, or even 10, I don't know. I guess it was 8 though. And on my personal save file I didn't even launch the first one yet. But on my personal save file I take a lot of time to double check things, to experiment on things, to maybe try to do it different than I did in the streaming save file, just to see what I can do better or worse or mix it up. And I actually found a few things, especially around the Lazarus complex, that we will change in the streaming save file, but that's for Caretaker. Also in November I achieved the Prestige 100 level 100 in Hunt Showdown. So we did like a 6-month grind for that prestige. And I'm honestly surprised I'm not burned out of Hunt. I still have fun playing Hunt. I'm playing it a little less right now because I'm more focusing on Eve. But that's because the Eve event, the Winter Nexus, is only for a few days more until January 12th. And the Hunt event is still going until February or March. I can't remember, but longer at least. And we also are pretty good progressed in Hunt already, so no major concerns here. However, I really am happy about the Prestige 100 level 100 in Hunt, and I'm also happy about the stream that I did there, where I tried to achieve all the gun and level unlocks in one go. We did like 80% or 70% of that in one go before I had to stop the stream because I couldn't focus anymore properly. Oh, and also one thing about the Banjo-Kazooie marathon. I really wanted to upload that to YouTube, but because of my PC crashing and restarting the stream and everything again, I didn't record it afterwards, because after 1 hour or so I had a blue screen. And I wasn't able to save the VOD because I completely forgot about that. Because I was like, yeah, I recorded it anyway. And then later I noticed I only have the first hour because, blue screen. So, yeah, the Banjo-Kazooie marathon won't make it on YouTube, sadly. And then we are in December. And in December in December I started the first time for a long time something to do for the pre-Christmas time. I did an advent calendar this time for 6 games and 6 anime, all more on the wholesome side. And it was kinda nice to do that. In the past I did some baking videos and storytelling videos in German, and while it was somewhat decent perceived, I guess none of them were as well perceived as the presentation videos this year. I might consider doing that next year, but with general suggestions, not specifically on the wholesome side or so, I don't know. Maybe just some good games to spend some times here and there, you know. But that's for next year to decide. I don't know. Also, this year was the first year ever since 2017 without a Christmas stream. I already spoiled that earlier. And while looking at Twitch several times during the 25th, because I was at a family gathering during the time, I guess, while it was of course a little bit sad that I didn't stream, I guess it was not that big of a loss. I think, I hope, I don't know. I don't know how we handle this next year, or if I will even consider streaming, but I guess it's fine not to do it. Because I noticed there were plenty of other channels at any given time online. A lot of people that I recommend as well. So I am really happy I was able to spend time with family and friends during that time as well myself. But yeah, I also am here to ask you for your opinions on that. What did you think about the advent calendar thingy, and what did you think about not having a Christmas stream on the 25th this year? As you might notice, I excluded a lot of things and topics in here, especially politics, because I'm not a political channel recap. But overall, the world right now, or especially in 2025, is a shitty one, let's be honest. And I'm not sure how this will continue in 2026, but I wanna say a few things before we go into the preview. So, right now we are in a place of change of the world, and I know not many people will see this, but I hope you will hear this and maybe think about it as well a bit. And this change is about AI, or as experts call it, A1. AI is taking over a lot of the resources that we spend as humanity, and for some people it even ruins the last bit of human interactions they have. At the same time, the world moves to a more right-winged side of the political spectrum, which in my opinion is rather bad. While you need a balance between left and right opinions on the politics, we are moving towards a very, very strong right extremist side globally. And this is something that shouldn't happen. We all remember how certain things in the 1930s, 40s, 50s ended badly. And we shouldn't repeat them. Honestly, we shouldn't. Having basic human rights shouldn't be a problem for anybody, you know? No matter where you're from, no matter what you're doing. Even if you did a crime, even if somebody, and I know this sounds weird, but even if somebody else killed somebody, they shouldn't be sentenced to death. There should not be some weird justice, self-explaining brutalism. And there shouldn't be people pushed out of countries just because somebody doesn't like them. Because there are always people that like them. And if you don't think about that in that way, maybe do it the other way around. What would happen if, for some reason, and it doesn't even need to be in your knowledge, you know, you would be victim of that next? Because maybe it turns out that your family is not from the country you think you're from, and then suddenly you get shoved out because you should quote unquote go back to the country you're coming from, even though you never have been there before. It's weird, you know. You shouldn't do that to other people. But I know that my community is not that kind of people anyway, but still. All of this is really dramatic, and it shoves away the attention from actual problematic things like climate change, which is going bad again. We breached the first dangerous point this year, where lots of parts around the world will be not livable anymore. Many more people will be refugees in the next 10 to 15 years. A lot more than we can imagine right now. And many, of course, will come to the better living world. Command & Conquer would call it the blue zones: Europe, Northern America, certain parts of Asia. It's kind of weird how, and I know this is really coincidence, but it's kind of weird how many years ago in Command & Conquer the red zones where the Tiberium was spreading a lot is now, well, not the same, but at least similar enough to see patterns in climate change territories that are not inhabitable anymore. God damn it, language. But yeah, as mentioned, I usually am not a politics channel, but I still should claim that, well, I'm anti-fascist. Because if you're not anti-fascist, you're technically automatically a fascist, which means technically you're... yeah, anyway, you get the gem. Most people on my channel are smart enough to understand that. At the same time, several people that I knew and was friends with died this year, next to my cat. Some of them still were very young, my age or younger, which is kinda scary. Some were choosing the way to leave the world, some were in accidents, some were due to illness. And it makes you think a lot about how you want to be on this world and how it treats you and how you want to treat others. So overall, this year, on a global perspective, was a really shitty one. And I have no idea if 2026 will be language. And I have no idea if 2026 will be any better. But what I can tell you are my plans for 2026. On stream, I want to focus more on Eve and Hunt, and potentially Last Caretaker, and maybe other things that are going on. I'm not sure how exactly shorts and videos will be executed, but I will make more of them. Yes, that's a promise. I will try to make as many and as good as possible as I can, but I won't promise any numbers. Shorts are rather easy these days. Full gameplay videos I often need a lot of motivation to do. And I'm honestly, at least at the moment, not at a point where I'm capable of that on my own. I sometimes did a push. And it's really weird because it's not really more work than a short or TikTok or whatever, but I still somehow struggle with that, so I need to find a solution for that. I'm also considering to do one of two things. The first one is to launch a second channel where I read things, and I think that was also in the last year's video I mean, because that is quite a long time on my to-do list now. But there's also another thing that I need to do next year, and that is that I will change professions again. Because as you maybe have heard in the beginning of the video, my last major contract is gone. So no idea. Getting work as a cutter at the moment is getting more and more difficult because more and more people are going into that branch, into that niche. And also, especially in the German-speaking area, Cuttergate made it not much better actually. It made it a lot worse. If you're not in the German-speaking bubble, there was a huge controversy this year about certain content creators being like, yeah, I was fine with my cutter earning 30% when I basically earned nothing myself, but now that I earn 100,000 a year, I'm not okay with my cutter earning 30% anymore. It should be less. That's the short version of it, but many more things happened. Many people mistreating their cutters, literally. And still more and more people are coming into that niche of content creation, of second-hand working on other people's content. And many companies are still going for internal and AI stuff because it's cheaper, even though it looks shitty. You see that recently on the big, well, more or less big scandals of, I guess, Coca-Cola and McDonald's and Burger King and whatnot, where they just use AI shit to create advertisement, but it's not even coherent or persistent in its own, and you have the same truck in 18 variants because it's not properly done. And yeah, AI at the moment shows that it's a really bad thing for creativity. Because you know, the crazy part is we don't need AI for these things. Humans are going for that anyway. Humans want to be creative. Humans usually want to be doing something like this. The problem is just that many people think just because AI can do it for them now that they are the artist because they thought the prompts. But that's not art what you're doing, that's just commissioning art. If you go to an artist, you don't sell the stuff that they draw for you as your own. And the artist scams on Twitch we don't talk about, come on, this is... Anyway. So yeah, I will change profession again next year. I have no idea what it will be. Maybe I'm able to get some work in, maybe not customer support again, but maybe something similar. Maybe I'll just look for something part-time-ish. Maybe I'll try to get into a completely new branch. I was always interested in data science. Maybe I'll try to get some learnings and some courses or maybe even degrees on data science, becoming a data scientist or so, I don't know. You know, I love my Excel sheets and whatnot. Also a reason why I play Eve. Or maybe I just go into a completely different direction, I don't know. But something needs to change next year, because while I'm still okay-ish at the moment, I don't want to drain my savings for a quote-unquote dream of being a cutter or editor, and then it's not working out and then I'm completely broke. And that's not what I want to be and do. So yeah. And that's why I said either one of these two, because if I get a new job and if I get a new thing that I need to learn, I won't be able to do 2 YouTube channels, obviously. But yeah, that's all in the future. Alright. This video is a lot longer than last year's, And I guess I don't need to cut a single bit out of it this time. I never drifted off too far. I just need to look into a video that's like 40 minutes gameplay now. I have an idea or two. Okay, so let's conclude this video. I wish you all the best for 2026. I hope I can do this before the New Year's Eve actually. Please take care of yourself, stay safe. I'm looking forward to see you around again in streams and videos. I won't stop on these, promised. I'm looking forward to read your opinions about the things that I said in this video. No matter if it's my advent calendar or if it's about the changes of the world that I am rather concerned about. So yeah, all the best to you for 2026, whoever you are. I wish you a healthy, wholesome, lucky and wonderful year. All the best to you and your loved ones. And I'm looking forward having you around again when we go hunting in the bayou, flying through New Eden, discovering new secrets in The Last Caretaker, or play something completely different. I don't know. We will see. Until then, cheers, happy new year, stay safe, fly safe, all the best to you. I'm out. Bye bye.